I had a really clear job to do when I took over Bud Light. And it was, this brand is in decline. It's been in decline for a really long time. And if we do not attract young drinkers to come and drink this brand, there will be no future for Bud Light. So I had this super clear mandate. It's like, we need to evolve and elevate this incredibly iconic brand. And what I brought to that was a belief in, okay, what does evolve and elevate mean? It means inclusivity. It means shifting the tone.
It went well.
So it's been quite a long time, ladies and gentlemen, since I've sat down here and covered the Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light story. Even still at this point, it almost feels like we're getting weekly updates surrounding the whole situation, which is kind of crazy to think about, right? When you think about when it all started, and even still now we're getting developments surrounding the story. It just shows you how much of a big mistake Bud Light made. The Bud Light boycott, of course, was the big inspiration behind boycotting other companies who also go down a similar route. And some of these companies don't even go halfway down the route and stop there. They go 20 miles ahead, as we saw with Target. You know, they heavily went down that route and suffered a similar situation. It's a clear sign now people are tired, frustrated, and will voice their opinion and push back against these companies. And I really do think perhaps in these next few years, you know, these ESG scores, the CEI index scores that influence these companies to go down this progressive path will become an established negative for them, a net negative, and will cost them a lot of money. But before we carry on any further, I actually do have a gift for you. We're going to revisit the moment where all of this started. Very briefly, don't worry.
Hi! Impressive carrying skills, right? I got some Bud Lights for us. So, I kept hearing about this thing called March Madness, and I thought we were all just having a hectic month, but it turns out it has something to do with sports. This month I celebrated my day 365 of womanhood, and Bud Light sent me possibly the best gift ever. Love ya! Cheers! Go team! Whatever team you love, I love too. Okay, break a leg. Woo!
I mean, out of everything, how time flies, right? And even though a lot of time has passed, I still struggle to get through that video without scratching my head and feeling a little bit cringed out. And even though, again, a lot of time has passed, it's not getting better for Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch. You know, there's a classic saying of time heals all wounds. Time heals everything. Well, Bud Light are clearly disproving that theory. Bud Light sales take steepest hit yet since Dylan Mulvaney fiasco. Bud Light suffered its worst weekly sales drop since the nation's #1 beer brand launched an ill-fated marketing tie-up with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. For the week ending June 10th, Bud Light sales dropped by a whopping 26.8% according to the latest data from Bump Williams Consulting and Nielsen IQ. That is wider than the 24.4% drop seen during the prior week and topped the all-time previous worst plunge of 25.7% during the week ended May 20th, since the beer giant got into bed with Mulvaney on April 1st.
Love ya.
Anheuser-Busch's other brands also took a step backwards for the week ending June 10th, according to the data. Sales of Budweiser were down 10% compared to a 7.8% decline the previous week, while Natural Light was down 2.3% versus a 1% decline. Michelob Ultra, I hope I said that right, the nation's #3 beer, was down 2.4%. This was a tough week for Bud Light and other beer brands owned by Anheuser-Busch, said Bump Williams, head of the eponymous consulting firm. The calls for a boycott from conservative corners of the country over the Mulvaney campaign has cost the Belgian-based beer company more than $20 billion. Wow. I don't think anyone would have seen that coming, especially Bud Light themselves, because I can assure you they probably wouldn't have liked to have lost $20 billion, and it just kind of shows you their arrogance, right, with thinking they could get away with a partnership with Dylan Mulvaney and face no controversy whatsoever. And this is really setting the tone, you know, as we've mentioned at the beginning, for these companies going forward who think they can get away with going down the woke progressive route, insulting their consumers. People are tired of politics being pushed down their throat. People don't want to see it when they're enjoying food, beer, buying makeup, buying clothes, or even when they're watching sports. People just want to enjoy their lives. They don't want to be confronted with, in Bud Light's case, an individual who represents an ideology that is causing a lot of controversy, dividing America because of how big the issues are surrounding it and how it's affecting a large majority. And one of the most mind-boggling things about this partnership, right, apart from the fact they used Dylan Mulvaney for March Madness, is that can they sent to Dylan Mulvaney, celebrating their day 365 of girlhood, in a clear and obvious attempt to normalize and glamorize that situation. And it also says to all women, right, in America, across the world, that this person's transition was more of an importance to recognize than all the hard work you put in, who do actual hard work, not just uploading TikToks for views, clicks, brand deals, etc., etc. This person's minuscule amount of time of claiming to be a woman was more important to acknowledge than all the hard work everybody else puts in. That's the level of delusion we are at within society right now. And that's just one of the few reasons why this partnership was absolutely ridiculous. And even with all that we've discussed in this video, all the controversies, all the backlash, losing $20 billion, even still at this point, Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch, as far as I'm aware, haven't actually come out and properly, publicly apologized and said, hey, look, guys, we're really sorry for slapping our target audience in the face. We're really sorry for trying to insult your intelligence. And that is very telling. Instead, they've come out and said, well, you know what? This boycott was actually a real wake-up call for us. Bud Light is coming back, but controversy is a wake-up call, Anheuser-Busch executive says. Anheuser-Busch InBev's top marketing executive is speaking out following a months-long boycott of Bud Light that has cost the brand its title as America's top-selling beer. When things get divisive and controversial so easily, I think it's an important wake-up call to all of us marketers to be very humble, said Marcel Marcendez, I hope I got that name right, Anheuser-Busch's global chief marketing officer, at a conference on Monday. It's tough to see all the controversial and divisive debates happening in the US the last couple of weeks involving lots of brands and companies, including especially Bud Light, Marcendez told an audience at the Cannes Lions International Festival of Creativity. The debates that your company caused, that must be so tough for you. You cause all the issues and it's so tough to deal with. Yeah, whilst that's also interesting to hear and it's very surface level, what is confusing to everybody is it's taken this long for you to come out and say, yeah, you know what, this was an actual wake-up call. The Bud Light boycott was a wake-up call to us. You've had to go through losing billions of dollars, the controversy everywhere, Americans across the country not drinking your beer anymore, to finally sit there and think, you know what, guys, maybe this was actually a wake-up call. You must have been in a very deep sleep, my friends, because lots of people saw how bad this was the first couple of weeks, but it's taken this long for you to come out and say, nah, this was a wake-up call for us. It just shows how out of touch these people really are. And you can make all these amends. You can sit there and say, oh, we're coming back. You can make all these new campaigns, but people aren't going to forget so easily the stunt you pulled, if at all. Anything you do now really isn't going to revive your brand image. That has been tarnished for the foreseeable future. You went down this route, and now you must suffer going down this route. But that is the end of the video, ladies and gentlemen. Leave your comments down below about the Bud Light story. Are you still paying attention to it? Are you surprised it's gone this far? I would like to know. If you have enjoyed today's video, then please, for me, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. But until next time, until tomorrow, it has been your boy JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out. Peace.